Okay, for expense reports and money, you got to close out all December items as soon as possible. If you have anything left from December and you haven't turned that in for me to sign, we haven't gotten that to Virginia, you won't be reimbursed soon. And then also, if you've requested any money in January, you want to make sure you get all that reconciled by the end of January. They're really pushing in terms of making sure those things are closed by the end of each month. I will also I will also do a how-to video on how to do expense reports, just in case some folks forget how to do those expense reports. Um, Also, some other important things to know: internship opportunities for students coming up through the Tacoma Community House. I've sent students through this the last 3 years, and they have a very high opinion of college-bound kids and typically take most of my kids every time they apply. Now, this is something wanting to push for all of college-bound this year. They have 40 spots, and certainly they won't be able to take every college-bound kid that applies. This is different than the Reach Center internships that we did last year. They have kind of four core fields that students get hooked up with, whether that's health and human services, or had people in kind of like the engineering, architecture field, or in businesses as well. And it's a lot of training around how to be prepared for work, and then it's a 20 hours a week job, paid internship, and some other aspects with that. And so it's been done really well in the past. Students have enjoyed it. It's been a valuable experience. And our kids have always come out with some of the most shiny reputations of any of the folks who go through, and we want to make sure we keep it that way. The next announcement or important thing to know, background checks and subs. When you have someone come in and guest speak in your classroom, but you are there, you don't have to have them do a background check. But if you're not going to be there, you got to have them do a background check. Make sure you complete the background check before they come in to sub in your class. It's usually like a 2 day turnaround, simply because a person might have a felony on their record, and if you turn in a background check to me after the fact, then we've put someone who has a felony with our students, and we don't want to do that um, at all, of course. And it's also something to keep in mind that everyone by um, February or for February 7th and 8th will need to have subs. And even if folks work within the school district, they need to also have a background check. This is for MDC's purposes, and they want to cover themselves from an HR standpoint. MDC branding, just a couple quick things. Make sure you use MDC letterhead or envelopes if you're sending stuff out. Also, when you're talking about college bound, make sure you always just say it's a part of MDC, so you could easily say, oh, our college bound program run through MDC. Just name drop like that. It's very important for MDC to be branded and to be known. Next one is copies of documents. So make sure you're collecting all along the way copies of acceptance letters, financial aid awards, scholarship notices to put on your walls of your classrooms or offices, but also as something that's just that we have to have documentation of for our files to show that our students have received these things. It's also easy for us to then use that as a way to total up number of acceptances, to total up financial aid in terms of data that we use to share with folks. This is only in relation to a few schools, but there's going to be a change in AmeriCorps members' time coming up pretty soon. They're going to be spending more time with us. And so at Lincoln High School, the AmeriCorps members, Ryan will be spending 3/4 of his time with College Bound. At Mount Tahoma High School, Rachel will be spending 50% of her time, and Joelle will be spending a few hours a week at Stadium High School. Just a reminder that that's coming up with the change of the new semester. For those of you guys who just received new computers, make sure you label those new computers, especially in the Tacoma School District, in your classrooms. If they are not labeled, sometimes the IT department of the Tacoma School District will come through and will just collect computers and assume they're theirs. That's happened in the past, and we want to make sure that it's very clear that it says property of College Bound MDC. So that's just an important thing to do. So if you need like some of that sticky tape that labels those things, is something we can do. Which brings me to ordering supplies. We want to make sure that we order supplies all throughout the year and spend our money all throughout the year, and not just do some sort of massive spend out near the end of the year. We don't want to do a massive spend out in August where we order all our supplies. We're wanting to make sure we order those throughout the year. So especially as the semester change is coming up and you're thinking of supplies that maybe your students need or you need for your classroom, please submit those to Amy and she'll run them by me and we'll get those ordered for you. Which then leads to this next one, the budget review. If you're interested in terms of how much money you've spent in the last couple months and how much money you have left, if you've been underspending, overspending, you're more than welcome to set up a meeting with me, and it's something that we can go over. And I'd love to do that. Just look on my calendar. And then finally, with the Oregon trip, to touch base on this one. First one is I need a roster of all your students as soon as possible, and any suggested roommates that you have. That's Tawana, Stephanie, and Kyle. I still need those. Also, the itinerary and the packing list I sent to you, make sure you're distributing that to students. Any other paperwork that needs to be completed through your school district, please make sure you complete that as soon as possible. We don't want any hang-ups keeping us from your students from being able to go. If you have any questions about the itinerary, please make sure and contact me. Katrina and Ryan on the college passport, would you put this together? And what this is a suggestion from last summer that perhaps at every college visit there's like a college passport that's put together that kind of gives students a purpose for what they're looking for on campuses. I'd also ask that you would maybe make this generic enough that it's not like University of Oregon oriented, but it's something that we could use throughout the summer as well and kind of start to institute that, and it's something that kids could make. Anyone else who wants to help out with that, with Katrina and Ryan, please go ahead and do that. I would ask a few other folks to come up with maybe a couple of activities that we could do while we're down there, whether they're a few group games or something, some other types of things. You just have kind of an idea of some of those activities you might want to do. Let's see, if someone could email me a volunteer their program assistant to put together, or AmeriCorps or someone to put together a list from the roommate roster that I'm going to give. Okay, my video is going to pause a second. So put together a list of for the doors, makes for an easy check-in. That'll be contingent on me having a roommate roster for you. And then if that doesn't make sense, whoever wants to do that, I'll explain it via email. And then quickly, my expectations. I'm running out of time here on the video. I'll talk more about this maybe on Monday, but in general, it's just very important for me that we're always on time on this trip. We're always pushing kids to be on time, and that's just a huge thing that we're doing. You're always supervising, you're always ready, and you're always interacting with students. Supervision is really kind of my biggest thing. I'll talk more about the other stuff later because I won't be able to upload this to YouTube. All right, thanks guys.